Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you from start to finish how I make a character. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and sketch out the character. I really had an idea for a cutesy mushroom person, I guess. I don't really know. Yeah, I just want to make it look cute and easy to animate later. A lot of the process is just me trying to figure out what looks best and trying to kind of style match what I'm going for. So what I do is, I go on my favorite sketch program and then I just kind of sketch everything out. And then I put usually a screenshot of the game or references on the side. So on the side over there on the right, you can see like a screenshot of the game. And I just kind of use that as reference. And this kind of ties into the color now. So now that I'm doing the color, you can see that a lot of it is just me referencing the adjacent colors. And what I'm going to do is kind of see if it matches well and it doesn't clash too well. When designing a character, I've kind of noticed that you have to really pay attention to the outline and if it looks good and it's real easy to kind of just distinguish that the character is, well, a character, right? So you can kind of cheat a little bit when I show you later animating. However, I will say that when you first start doing all this stuff, it definitely is daunting. But don't feel too overwhelmed or ashamed or anything. You know, everyone starts somewhere, and I still have a lot to learn. But my reference, as you saw from the beginning, had a lot of spots on it, right? So that's basically what I was doing. So right here, I'm actually separating everything and getting ready for export. So I started using, if you follow this channel, I use Blender a lot. However, I've switched to Moho for my animating. It's just helped me so much from a 2D animation standpoint. This isn't sponsored or anything, but I finally broke down and spent money on the animation software. And as you see right now, it's just going to save me so much time. So I've imported the individual layers. I ended up just importing the bottom and the top. And I'm going to use the reference that I made earlier, as you can see on the top right there, to kind of start drawing in the animation program. So Moho is really cool where, just like in Blender, you can kind of make vectors and draw everything out. So I'm just going to draw everything out in here. I technically didn't need to draw in a separate program. I'm still getting my workflow down, so you can probably save some time doing that. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of speed up things here a little bit, but I'm getting everything set up for the animation. And Moho, again, has these cool texture brushes that kind of give me that texture that I'm going for. And now I'm setting up a mask here as well. So when I'm animating, it looks like he's going inside the hole. I had a problem later when I imported it to the game engine, as you'll see at the end of this video, but all in all, it's a pretty fast process. I'm just basically going to do two main animations. So Moho has this thing just like Blender, where you can create bones and kind of link things up. So it's just a lot simpler in this program. So I just got to create a whole bunch of bones, and then I create these things called mesh layers, if I'm not mistaken. And so that kind of allows me to basically a PNG or a normal bitmap image. It allows me to animate it like it's vector. And once again, I cannot stress how much time this saves. I will say, if you are new to game development or animating and stuff like that, the rigging process takes the most amount of time up front. However, it's the most, you get the biggest payoff later. So you do a lot of upfront time, but the payoff later is bigger. And what I mean by that is that you are allowed to animate things much faster later. Whereas if you did it traditionally, you'd have to go back and draw and do all that stuff. So it's just a lot, right? So now I'm just adding, some constraints and stuff like this. And to save time, I use these things called bone dynamics. And it's just basically, if you move something, another bone reacts. And so I'm just doing that so I don't have to animate each bone individually. And the whole idea of this character was to be simple. And if I have feature creep, so I often make things a lot more complicated than they're supposed to. One thing I will say though is I have no idea why there's this graphic error that keeps happening with the shading on the bottom, but I kept noticing that when I was animating with this software. And then I did this thing called Smart Bones as well. Once again, super powerful, but if y'all know my channel, it's basically drivers. That's what it is. So if you're familiar with drivers, if you know Blender Grease Pencil, it's the same thing basically. It's just a less technical and a little more straightforward. So yeah, I'm just making a simple idle shake back and forth animation and then a hide animation. And basically this is going to be like a little side character that you kind of see, and just something interesting for someone to come and look at. And if I want to add more animation later, I can. Your goal for the animation is just to be simple, time saving if you're solo like me. So I actually work in Gamemaker. So here I am in Gamemaker, and I've imported it. I exported it as a PNG sequence, and then it makes it really fast for me to import it in the game. You're seeing exclusive footage of my game, but there's our character. So he's completely in the game engine, and I push the button here and to switch his sprite, and so now he works. So pretty awesome, right? So I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to try to make more videos going forward about this. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. And maybe I'll do some environmental work and show you how I did that. So let me know if this interests you. I'll see you later. Bye.